Hi everyone, my name is Zehra Gabillon. I'm an assistant professor in EFL at the University of French Polynesia. I'm the first author and the presenter of the paper Multilingual Primary Education Initiative in French Polynesia. The second author is Rodica Ailincai. Rodica is an associate professor in education and the director of the Teacher Training College at the University of French Polynesia. Both Rodica and I are members of the research team ISCO at the University of French Polynesia. Our presentation reports on the multilingual activities in French Polynesian primary schools. The first part of our paper describes the educational context, and the second part provides a succinct review of the research activities conducted on multilingual practices in elementary schools. The final part discusses the forthcoming research activities and further directions in multilingual education projects. French Polynesia, which is an overseas collectivity of France, is a good example for its language policy and planning efforts concerning multilingual primary education. French Polynesia is comprised of 118 islands and covers an area as large as Europe. 67 of these islands and atolls are inhabited and almost all have elementary schools. There are 172 elementary schools on 5 archipelagos, and the fact that these schools are spread across huge geographical areas in the Pacific Ocean makes them difficult to manage. In French Polynesia, education is under the responsibility of both the central government and local authorities. The official texts recommend that the historical, geographic, social, economic and cultural realities of the country be taken into account when implementing the local school curricula. French Polynesian primary and secondary education implement the French national curriculum with some adjustments to adapt for local needs. In French Polynesia, French is the only official language and the medium of school instruction. French Polynesia has always been a multilingual society where 5 local languages have coexisted throughout 5 archipelagos. These languages are Tahitian, spoken in Society Islands, Paumotu, spoken in Tuamotu archipelagos, Marquesan, spoken in the Marquesas Islands, Austral, spoken in the Austral Islands, and Mangareva, spoken in the Gambia Islands. Reo Tahiti, the native language of the Society Islands, is the major local language used throughout French Polynesia. Between the years 2005 and 2012, 2 research projects investigated the effects of bilingual education, French and the Tahitian language, on Polynesian children's speaking, reading and writing skills at elementary school level. The École Pomme project is currently undergoing an extension as part of a new research program entitled Reo C3, which focuses exclusively on French Polynesian languages and their teaching at the primary education level. This experimental research activity involved 212 pupils. The results of this experimental study revealed that this partial bilingual education program, Tahitian and French, did not hinder the acquisition of the children's schooling language, French. The program had a positive effect on the learners' proficiency in Tahitian, but produced neither positive nor a negative effect on the learner's proficiency in French. In addition to the research projects that examined bilingual programs, Tahitian and French Polynesian elementary schools also participated in other national school projects and experimental and exploratory research activities that focused on learning English as a foreign language at the primary education level. The first pedagogical pilot project in EFL was initiated by the local educational authorities in 2006 in 6 schools at preschool level and involved 7 teachers. The pilot phase employed a progressive scheme moving from preschool level, age 5, in 2006 to a higher grade to age 6 in 2007 and age 7 in 2008 and ages 8 and 9 in 2009. The project ended in 2009. During these 3 years of experimentation, language learning tools were tested and fine-tuned, and the teaching was adjusted to answer the pedagogical needs of the pupils. During this period, many elementary school teachers attended in-service programs and were informed about the recent developments in foreign and second language teaching. Since 2013, as part of the EFL provision, another longitudinal research study has been conducted by the researchers from the University of French Polynesia at the primary education level. The first phase of the study employed the CLIL approach, content and language integrated learning, to teach science lessons through the medium of English. The preliminary result obtained at the end of the first phase of this classroom-based research suggested that the CLIL approach could be effectively implemented with beginner-level young foreign language learners. The examined data also indicated that the use of gestures and artifacts facilitate content learning and improve the quality of dialogical exchanges in English. Dialogical classroom exchanges, student to student and teacher to students, can be used as both a means for scaffolding content learning and language learning. The CLIL project is an ongoing project, and at present the researchers are investigating the role gestures and artifacts play on the length and the quality of classroom exchanges in experimental pedagogical activities. The future research intends to complement the experimental research projects that particularly invested in partial bilingual education programs, such as École Pomme, and exploratory and experimental research projects which investigated the CLIL practices in English as a foreign language setting in French Polynesian elementary schools. Future research projects aim at collecting a representative corpus on existing multilingual educational practices across the 5 archipelagos of French Polynesia. The future projects also aim to go beyond the school and teaching context and widen their scope to include the family in these multilingual educational programs. In these forthcoming projects, both groups of researchers, that is, the researchers who work on bilingual education, Tahitian and French, and the researchers who work on CLIL, intend to join their efforts and act in close cooperation. Thank you very much.